Dear friends, welcome to the channel The Eastern Front. Looking through the photos or video chronicles of the Great Patriotic War, you probably paid attention to the metal cylinders located on the sides and stern of the T-34 tanks. Why were they needed? The legendary T-34 tank was developed in the Kharkov plant number 183 under the supervision of designer Mikhail Koshkin. In 1939 it was put into service, and in 1940 its serial production began. The T-34 was produced at 8 factories throughout the Soviet Union, and over 35,000 tanks were produced during the war years. By the way, on my channel you could watch an interesting video about how much one T-34 cost during wartime. The link will be in the right corner. In 1944, the production of the modernized T-34-85 began, which is the most massive tank in the history of the world tank building. In total, over the years of production, about 66,000 of these tanks were produced in different countries of the world. The designers managed to balance the combat, running, technological and tactical characteristic of the tank. Wide tracks and a powerful 800 horsepower aviation-type diesel engine provided this tank with a high mobility, maneuverability and cross-country ability. Depending on the modification, the T-34 weighed from 26.5 to 32 tons, and its engine could accelerate the tank to 54 km per hour. At the same time, the average fuel consumption was 185 liters per 100 kilometers. Tanks of early releases had 6 internal fuel tanks with a total capacity of 460 liters. In later vehicles, 8 tanks for 540 liters were installed. In addition to the main internal tanks, additional external tanks were installed on the tanks. They were called additional or marching fuel tanks. On the early T-34, 4 marching fuel tanks were attached, with a total capacity of 134 liters. Since 1942, they have been replaced by 2 stern fuel tanks of similar capacity, and on tanks of later releases by 2 and then 3 side fuel tanks with a capacity of 90 liters each. They were not connected to the fuel system of the tank, but were used as large canisters. Fuel from them was poured into the internal tanks during stops using a hose and a hand pump. In addition to fuel, these tanks could be refueled with the oil, and the tank became an oil tanker for the entire column during the march. Before the battle, additional tanks had to be removed, but sometimes they simply didn't have time to do it. In 1944, the metal cylinders similar to fuel tanks appeared on the stern of the T-34-85 tank. But these were not fuel tanks, but for protecting the tank and infantry during the offensive, as well as masking it in case of breakdowns. On the basis of the marine smoke bomb, a large smoke bomb developed. It was powered by an electric fuse and smoked for 5 to 7 minutes, depending on the weather conditions, and could cover an area of about 2 hectares with a thick cloud. Smoke bombs and external fuel tanks were also installed on newer models of equipment. Dear friends, that's all for today. It was Tim and the Eastern Front channel. I wish you peace and health. See you.